It's 7:30. It's Monday night. This is your weekly Fan Zone show. My name's Phil. Welcome. Thank you. Get your views in. Get your comments in. Breaking news. James Maddison has signed that contract for Leicester City, as has Mendy. But what we really want to talk about, apart from those two big breaking news things, is what do you think to Leicester's transfer business so far with 19 days to go? I want your views. I want your comments. Welcome to this week's Fan Zone show.
Get on your feet. Don't sleep. Lift the keys. Dig deep. Get on your feet. Don't sleep. Lift the keys. Dig deep. Got to dig deep.
Yes, indeed. Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. Don't forget, follow us wherever you're watching. We are live tonight on YouTube. Welcome to you on YouTube. Press subscribe if you're on there. We're also on Facebook. Thanks for all you guys on the Facebook page and group watching. And, of course, we're on Twitter and Periscope. You can follow us wherever you are on Leicester Fan TV. What I want to do, as ever, is get your views, your comments on today's transfer news, or I would say lack of it. I mean, there's a bit of transfer news in the fact that we've signed James Maddison on a quite lucrative extension, and we've signed Mendy. Two very, very different topics. I want to know what you think to both those bits of business. Good, bad. Is Mendy good enough? Isn't he good enough? Where are the signings? They're not there yet. Are you panicking? Are you not? I was looking through the Premier League list of players who have been signed, and I think about 17 of the 20 clubs have all made 1, 2, 3, 4 sort of signings. There's only 3 clubs, I think, Leicester, Man U and Wolves, not made any signings. As ever, I can put your comments on screen. A few hellos. Carl is watching. Carl Cole's watching in Cyprus. Good evening, Carl. How are you? Is it a lovely evening there? Kevin, is watching. Good evening. Let us know wherever you're watching from. I want to put it up there on screen. Let's see who's the furthest flung fox around the world. And let's see all you boys and girls who are from Leicester today. Adrian, yeah, there hasn't been any business. Listen, we've signed Mendy. Let's start with Mendy. What's your views on Pape Mendy? Is he good enough for us going forward for Leicester City? We've obviously got, as we all know, we've got a Europa League challenge, a lot of Thursday nights. Hopefully it's going to be a lot of Thursday nights. And we've obviously got the league, the Premier League, and then obviously we've got a bit of cup action. I believe the EFL now is mostly under 21 sort of action. Is Mendy good enough, or are we just accepting that probably he's going to be a bench player and as and when he can come in and do an adequate job? So that's the first thing I want to talk to you about is, do you think Mendy is good enough or not? Andrew says that he thinks Mendy is an okay squad player. I think, Andrew, you're probably speaking for most of us. You're speaking for me there. He is an okay squad player. I would assume he's not on mega bucks, and he seems quite happy about it. Wayne, we will talk about this shortly. Wayne wants to know, we need a striker ASAP. That will be where we come on to. I want to stick with Mendy for now. Chris Gutteridge, thanks for watching, Chris, says Mendy is okay again for a squad player. Problem with our transfer window is that our best signing is always keeping our players but offering this bigger and better contracts. We will talk about James Maddison obviously been offered a good big contract extension, and of course that will include higher wages. My fear with that is, are we just putting a bigger price tag on him for next year? Is that what we're doing? Andy Young says he'd rather have Mendy than James. 100% agree with you, Andy Young. Much as I'm a Matty James fan to an extent, I mean, we just haven't seen enough of him recently. For me, Matty James, it's time to go. He should not be at Leicester City anymore. John Squire saying Magic Mendy. Don't forget that. Don't forget it's with a Y, though, John. Not that I'm the grammar police. As many of you will know, my spelling is terrible. Andrew is watching from Thailand. Thank you, Andrew. Javier is watching from Texas on YouTube. Good evening from the state of Texas. Chris Florian, Leicester Till I Die, says, Good evening. And Mendy is the sort of player we need as a squad player. Not many will sign for us and be prepared to play second fiddle. Chris, I think, has got a big point there. This is the trouble, isn't it? When we do move on to talk about strikers to play alongside or replace at some points Jamie Vardy, what sort of striker is going to want to come to Leicester? Because we all know who is going to start up top for Leicester. Georgina is Leicester born and bred. Good evening, Georgina. There's nothing wrong with being from Leicester, my duck. We all like that. James Hill says there's been no business. It's been rubbish. 19 days to go, James. 19 days until we kick off away at West Brom. Let's get somebody in. Let's give them time to settle in, would be my logic. Adrian, again, we want to talk about Mendy, but Adrian, again, is stirring the pot here by saying plenty of deadwood still left to show the door. Adrian, I want to know from you and anybody else who's watching this, who is that deadwood you want to see gone? Who is it who you want to see gone? Is any of them worth a second chance? Is any of them worth a little go? Adrian Silva, is he worth... He's a Portuguese international. Have we seen the best from him? Are we just saying, cut loose, he ain't good enough? I believe Monaco don't want him. I believe he is a Leicester player. You know, there's others. There's Islam Slimani. I've heard never play for Leicester again. Would you give him one more chance if we're still paying his wages? What do you think? Would he sit on the bench now? Adrian is saying, I'm talking about Silva, Slimani, Matty James. Indeed. Carl says the problem is we need to sell at least 7 players to allow the quality to come in. Again, Carl, who do you want to sell? We've not even talked about Ben Chilwell yet. Well done. How long? We've done 8 minutes of a show and we haven't talked about Ben Chilwell. I'm going to make it at least another 8 minutes before we talk about Ben Chilwell because I am bored to tears with it. Less to say, are we doing the usual thing? Are we doing the usual thing? Are we waiting till we've sold Ben Chilwell, till we spend some money? And then every club in Europe knows Leicester have got £50 million to come and spend. Get your views in that. Frankie says he thinks the pandemic has really hit our club hard in terms of finances for transfers. I think they're billionaire owners, Frankie. You know, we've said for years, not having fans in the stadium doesn't add that much finances when you're a top 5, top 10 Premier League, season in, season out club like Leicester. Do the maths, you know, 32,000 seats times 30 quid. What's that? £1 million a game, 20 home games. That's 20 million quid. Something like that. Plus a few burgers, pies, pints of beer, programmes. There's bigger money in football than that now. Chris is saying Slim and Silva play football in these big competitions. We're forgetting Big Slim's goals for Leicester City in the Champions League. Chris, listen, unless we go out and sign a striker, we're going to talk about strikers. And Chris has brought this on. Chris Gutteridge. Listen, if at the moment, in my books, we start with 2 strikers, just like we did last year. We've got Kelechi Iheanacho and we've got Jamie Vardy. If you can think of another striker who is in that squad, let me know. And I'm waiting for you all to put in there Perez, and I'm waiting to tell you all Perez ain't no striker. He ain't no striker. He isn't. He isn't a winger either, I don't think. I think he's that alternative to James Maddison in that cam role. That's, for me, we've got 2 strikers. And the trouble is, when you play Nacho and Vardy together, which looks quite nice at times, when you need a goal, where do you go off the bench? When you want to bring another striker on or you get a striker injured, we are dead light up top. If you don't sign anybody, which I hope we do, Slimani, for me, I've said it last year, is worth having in the squad on the bench. Graham says we defo need another striker. Andy Medhurst, thanks for watching. Andy, as ever, says I'd keep Silva, European experience. Hey, listen, rumour is we're paying him 80 grand a week. That's what we hear he gets. And when he's out on loan, we still pay a lot of that, I believe. Quality international would do rather well in Europa League, you would think, Adrian Silva. Maybe worth keeping. You let me know. Put in the comments. Would you keep him? Would you let him go? Matt saying bring back Shinji. We miss Shinji Okazaki, Matt. I totally agree. We haven't got that. I think Nacho's sort of trying to play that role, but not getting it in there. Robert says get Troy Deeney in from Watford. Hey, listen, they're relegated. I'm sure we've had flirtations with Troy Deeney a couple of seasons ago. A little bit Robert De Niro then. I'd take a Troy Deeney. I would. I'd have him. I think he is the sort of player who would come to Leicester. He is the sort of player who would play second fiddle probably now. And he would offer you something a bit different from the bench. Could he play with Vardy? Bit similar, but he's a bit more burly. He could certainly play with Nacho. I don't know. What do you think? Would you take a Troy Deeney? It'd be cheap. Put it that way. He would be cheap. Mark saying we're light on the bench, no quality and depth. Joanna saying we can use Perez as a striker if played the right position. Joanna, I hear what you're saying there, but listen, this is my take on it. There was plenty of times last season when, especially when we were playing Nacho and Vardy together, when we needed another striker, and at no point in my memory was Perez particularly played as right. You're up top. You're the striker. So I don't think that Perez is a striker. I don't think it's where he particularly plays. I think he plays in a forward attacking midfield role. James says he wants Danny Ings. Again, had a great season last year. Not sure he would have it. Gary Cooper. Is that Gary Cooper from Cornwall with the Lucky Gnomes, Gary? Hello if you are. Says sell Chilwell. Big no to Deeney. So that's a from Gary. He's saying no. Mark says Slim Shady don't want to play for us. Why would we want to keep a player who doesn't want to play for us? Again, Mark, I think you're right. I genuinely have heard on the grapevine Slimani will never play for Leicester City. I don't know what happened, but something happened and he will never play. Andrew's saying we haven't had a plan B striker since Ulloa left. I just want somebody on that bench where when you're 1-0 down, you look into the bench and you go, there's a striker. Come on, get Leonardo Ulloa on, get Slimani on. Or who? Or who would you get on? Sportser, that's Josh. Don't forget you can watch Josh and Locks every Thursday. Sportser says, if we don't sign someone by Friday, I'm going to become very concerned. You know Leicester, Josh, you should know. You should know by now. Leicester will leave it till we've sold Ben Chilwell and then we'll start spending the money. Nicholas says, get Edin Dzeko all day. Where is he now? I've lost track of which team he plays for. Obviously, he was Man City. I think did he go over to St. Petersburg or somewhere? Nicholas, where is Dzeko now? Let us know. Chris says, every year we get linked with Troy Deeney. Just help him get a better contract upgrade at Watford. Will he want to stay at Watford? Maybe he will. I'm sure if we wanted him, we could get him. Jono, watching on Periscope and Twitter, says, no, Troy, thanks. It's another I know Troy Deeney will split. I mean, we're trying to go up. We're trying to become a top 5, top 6, top 4 club. We want to go in deep into the European competition this season. We want to get to a Wembley Cup final. Is Troy Deeney good enough? I think he does. I think he offers us something. James Moore, I think, is saying, thank you, James, for that, saying Edin Dzeko is at Roma. Okay, well, Roma, that would be an interesting one. Again, he knows the Premier League. Thanks, TJ. Sorry, let me put it up there. TJ says Roma as well. Thank you, guys, for answering me on that. I really appreciate it. Mark Gatwood says, why don't we sign the 18-year-old Brazilian we were linked with in May? We've been linked with... Who haven't we been linked with? We've been linked with quite a lot of players. And as yet, Inbox says nothing. There's now to be bought here. Do you know why? And here we are. We're 15 minutes into the show. We are going to talk about Ben Chilwell briefly because we're all sick to death of it. More ins and outs today. We try not to post too much about Ben Chilwell at the moment because it's just boring. And I think we all know that potentially he may well go if we can get as much money as we want. That's all that's happening, isn't it? It's probably Leicester are there going, well, we don't have to sell him, which we don't. So we're waiting for something ridiculous, like probably we're saying we want 70 million, which we would, I mean, crikey, we got 80 for Harry Maguire. Who says we can't get 70 million for Ben Chilwell? But we haven't got it yet. And you can see Chelsea are probably going, no, he's not worth that. He's only worth 40, maybe 50 million. I think we're waiting till we've sold him, and then we're gonna spend that 50 million on two players, two, maybe three players. We'll buy one for 20, one for 18, and one for 8. I don't know who they are yet, but that's where I think it is going to be. Jordan says, sell Chilwell. Listen, Jordan, it doesn't matter whether we want to sell him or want to keep him. They're obviously got... My fear is you have... If you put a big price tag on him and don't sell him, and he wants to go, which... It looks like he does want to go. If you read between the lines on social media and photos and Instagram things with Danny Drinkwater recently and that, you sort of think it looks like he wants to go. So if he does want to go, don't forget we had all this with Harry Maguire the season before he went. And then that following season, when we didn't sell Harry Maguire, he didn't have his best season for us. Because players are there thinking, oh, I've got to wait. I'm just got to get through this season and see what happens. Mark says, shame it's all paper talk. Can't believe anything till it happens. But if we have a poor window again, then things need to change at the club. Mark, I think it's really interesting. When we won the Premier League title in 2015-16, we had a particularly bang average. That should have been the transfer window of our lives, because... only one time ever in 138, whatever it is, years, do you get to say you're champions of England, and you're definitely in the Champions League, and the whole globe is talking about you. We should have gone out and bought much better quality players there. I don't know what went on, but it was a very poor transfer window then. Again, I'm going to say January this year. Listen, we have to be honest. January this year, do you agree with me? January this year cost us the Premier League top 4, cost us Champions League next season. We should have been listening to different music every Wednesday, and we should have been going to some much nicer places on Champions League. And a lot of you will say, do you know what? We'd have took 5th at the start of the season. And you know what? You're all right. We would have all took 5th at the start of the season. But January was rubbish transfer business. Ryan Bennett, Gordon bloody Bennett, missed a chance. Massive chance. And again, in my lifetime, your lifetime, you never know. We may never be in that position again. This happened twice in the last 4 years that we've actually been this top 4 at that position. And I hope it's next season we're in there. But we had a massive chance in January. And when Man U were out spending, 60 million on Fernandes, was it, in January? We bought in a central defender who can't make the Wolves team, who are one of our competitors. If he can't make their team, why did we think... Well, he was not going to be a world beater, was he? He was just going to be a central defender. So I definitely think that January was poor, really poor. And I'd have liked to see us roll our sleeves up. I know there's coronavirus gone on and all that. You can still be thinking about who you're going to buy. This is still a business. Brad Lingard, hi Brad, thanks for watching, says, definitely cost us, Phil, and should definitely have signed a striker in January. If we needed to sign a striker, Brad, in January, do we need to sign one now? Yes. Now, a lot of you will all say, we need a winger. And that's the last 10 minutes of the show. Let me know, where do we need to strengthen? What positions? A lot of you I know think winger. I think more striker. I think we need 3 players, at least 3 players, and 3 quality players. I want to know who you think we should get. Kevin says, as much as we love our owners, they've never splashed the cash. Not on transfers, they've not. You've got to remember. New training ground coming on. Ground expansion coming on. Never going to criticise the owners, but Kevin is right in a way. We've only spent money, really, that's come in that we've earned. James Hill says, we don't need another winger. Sid, watching on YouTube. Sid, make sure you've liked and subscribed. Says, we need a striker at left-back, centre-back, and a right winger. Very interesting. Mark Charles, good one. Listen, I thought the Coutinho rumours got just a chance. I'd love to see that happen, but Gareth Bale out of favour at Madrid is never going to happen. Baz says we need a centre forward, a left back, a CH. Am I being thick? Centre half. It's because everybody uses CB now for that, Baz. I'm old school. I'd call them a centre half as well, but a CB. It's all FIFA stuff, this. Mark says we did need to sign a striker 3 seasons ago. Mark, we did sign one. His name was Islam Slimani, and for whatever reason, it didn't do it. Ross Howard. Anybody listening on the podcast goes, why did it go quiet? It's because Ross just put up the word Mitrovic. He's trying to get me going. I'm not going to say Mitrovic. We should have had him last summer. This summer, he's with Fulham. They've got promoted. He should stay at Fulham. He should see them right and do that. So much as I think Mitrovic was the guy next season, I don't think he is necessarily this season. James says left back, centre back, winger, and centre forward. So most of you are going for similar sort of positions. We've got to think of a long-term successor for Casper, says John Lloyd. Well, rumours again. Oh, we're dancing all over the place tonight, John, aren't we? Casper has been linked with a move away from Leicester to a couple of clubs, in fact. Man United, and I know a lot of Leicester fans will say, he'll never go Man United. Do you know who his dad played for? Do you know who Casper spent all his childhood watching and supporting? It was Man United. I think if they came calling, Casper would go. And to be fair, I wouldn't blame Casper for going. He's given us the best bits of his life. Matthew Fox saying we have Iheanacho. Yeah, I'm not trying to replace Iheanacho. I'd keep Iheanacho. I quite like Matthew. What I'm saying with Kelechi Iheanacho, especially with him playing with Vardy, I think Vardy works better with another striker up there, like he used to have with Shinji Okazaki, as somebody said earlier. Steve, I agree with you. I think Danny Ward is a great keeper. If Casper was to go, I would just put Danny Ward in there. I honestly would. I think he is good enough to be doing that. I wouldn't want to. Adrian saying get Butland in for Stoke. I wouldn't be bothered. Well, maybe you get Butland in to be like a backup, but Jack saying we need a much stronger second choice right back. So Jack, talk me through that, because Ricardo Pereira is obviously going to be our first choice right back. Tell me that I'm wrong. I know he's not quite back from injury yet. Might not be back till late September, maybe even early October. Even though some of the fitness stuff I've seen him doing looks like he certainly looks fitter than me already, which ain't hard before you say it, Jack. But James Justin, I like the look of James Justin. And Luke Thomas, obviously, I think we've got some decent quality coming through there. If Casper goes, I would want Henderson on some sort of swap deal, says Andrew Scheiber. Hope I've said that, Andrew, watching on Facebook. Thank you for that. Jack saying he would send James Justin out on loan. I thought he did really well, Jack. I'm not going to say he's instant first pick for us if everybody's fit and well, but I would not be sending him out on loan. Somebody who's watching on Periscope, Matty, says you're not responded to us. Matty, put it in again. Literally, thank you, everybody. I'm getting hundreds and hundreds of comments. I really appreciate it. So I'm trying to read through as many as I can and bounce back. So Matty, if you're watching, put the comment up again and I would be doing it. Matthew Fox says, I wasn't having a go. No, I know you weren't, Matthew. I was just saying people saying we need a striker, but Iheanacho can take over his young. Yeah, I agree with you, Matthew, but we've got Jamie Vardy, we've got Kelechi Iheanacho. When they play together, and you normally have out of your seven players on the bench, you normally want one who is a striker who can say, right, we'll have two defenders, maybe three defenders, a keeper, a couple of midfielders. Well, let's have one striker on there if we want to change it. And that's who I'd like to see. Reese, good evening, Reese. Thanks for joining us. Better late than never, mate. Says, great news on Madders. Yeah, he has. Reese reminding us all there that we started the show by saying that James Maddison has signed a new contract at Leicester, which is great. There's not really been any rumours of James Maddison leaving. It's not his summer. Let's fast forward 12 months when it will be the James Maddison saga, probably. Don't like to predict it, but anybody else agree with me? We're just waiting 12 months before it happens, sadly. I hope we're not. We need to stop selling players. This is the thing with Ben Chilwell. Whether you love him or hate him, we need to stop selling players to other teams who are, if we want to be top 4 or top 6, don't sell your players to them. It's pretty obvious, isn't it? I saw somebody put in the comments, you'll have to, not in these comments, I saw somebody say, if Ben Chilwell sells again to Chelsea, we'll have to start calling Chelsea Leicester South. And I thought that was good. If you think of the players who have recently gone from Leicester to Chelsea, I quite like that. Leicester South. I thought that was good. Reese says better late than never. Just woke up. Reese, if you're working nights, fair play to you. If it's just because you're feeling about it, Andy. Now listen, you'll tell from my tan that I have been away somewhere very, very sunny. It's not Spain. You can't go there. I couldn't go to the Fox's Arms in Alcudia. I had to go to Whitby in the cloud and rain. And I got my email while I was up there about this 70 quid. Now, they've changed it today a little bit. It's all a bit of a hoo-ha, isn't it? I couldn't quite work it out. I was scratching my head going, and I put a post up actually saying, am I being thick? Am I being thick? I've got 4 season tickets because me and the kids go. And they want me to pay 280 quid for nothing that I might, if they allow fans to come into the ground, that I might be allowed to then enter a ballot. And I was like, 280 quid to retain my season ticket, enter a ballot. I was like, cheeky pleaders, if I'm honest. I love Leicester City. You might know that I love Leicester City. But I did think 280 quid out of my pocket. I'll pay it. You know I will. But we all will. We'll all pay it. But I did think it was a bit fruity. I think now they've slightly changed it so that some of it, well, it would go to, if you don't use it or whatever happens, it would go towards next season's season tickets. Most confusing. I'm not sure really it was the best way to do it. But anyway, yes. Who has got their season tickets? Who sorted it already? I feel hard that it's harsh on the members. I think the members have been asked to pay £35 membership and they're going to get 10% in their ballot allowance into the club, into the ground. So let's say they allow 10,000 fans in there. 9,000 fans are going to be season tickets and 1,000 are going to be members. I think it's a bit fruity to ask 35 quid for a membership to be in a raffle. Bit harsh. Season tickets is one thing. I'd pay it just to keep my seat for next season, let alone what happens this season. But let me know what you think. Reece says he'll pay it if anybody doesn't want theirs. If reluctantly paid today, says James, won't be going into any ballots. Robert says, so will they put the season ticket up by £70 next year? Josh, Sportser on YouTube, says he's got his membership, not happy. It's a bit naughty, isn't it, Josh? I do feel it is. James says it's a bit harsh on season ticket holders as well. David says Fulham are doing something similar. If they don't pay, they could lose their season tickets, then go on a waiting list. Absolutely, David. Every Leicester fan, every season ticket holder, if you don't pay that 70 quid, you lose your seat. That I think is the thing that's going on. But do check the latest details, which again, I've read once and I'm still like, I just have to pay it. Just have to pay the money, whatever it is. Keith says, are the stickers peeling off your arms yet? They're not off this shirt. I've got another shirt that I'm taking back down there this week on Wednesday that they are already peeling off, Keith. They really are, genuinely. I think, don't know if you saw that photo, but they actually are. Hey, listen, we are not turning the last few minutes into a grumble session. Let's get back to transfers. Here we go. Matthew Box says, sorry to keep asking, but I just want to see what you think of odds on Edouard Phil. I don't know, Matthew. I'll have to go and check him out. There's been that many transfer rumours, and I'm just back from glorious Whitby. I'd have to go and check him out. What do you think about him? What does anybody else think about him? To be fair, there's an easy solution under the circumstances. Paid my membership today. Well, what's the easy solution? Just pay it. Is that what you're saying, Andy? So I think all in all, listeners, we sum up things here. James says they've got us over a barrel. Well, they sort of have. Like I say, you're either going to pay it or you've not. Chris has got a transfer for us. Callum Wilson from Bournemouth. Jack saying, does Phil want Messi? He wants to leave Barcelona? No. I'm not even sure. I mean, Messi is one of the best football players the world's ever seen. I'm not sure. Well, for a start, I'm not sure he'd come to Leicester, Jack. Let's start with that one. I'm not sure how much he would cut it in the Premier League, if I'm honest. Now, maybe back in his real heyday. I'm not sure Messi. I think he would get absolutely. The pace is ferocious, and I know he's an amazing player, but I'll take him if Leonardo. I've got Leonardo Joe on the mind. Lionel Messi, if ever he watches this, which he won't, feel free to come to Leicester. We'll put you in that shirt. You'd sell lots of shirts with your name on it, but nothing too much. Jack saying we'd end up bankrupt. Tom saying Ben Rama from Brentford, yes, looks decent. There's a couple of the Watford players, the Brentford players look decent, Tom, don't they? So he certainly would be worth a little look at. Oh, Andrew saying it's Edward from Celtic. Well, I guess Brendan Rodgers probably knows him well there. Lewandowski would be on for a new chat. Yeah, he's just done it at Bayern Munich. He's done it everywhere. I can't see TJ Chapman him coming. Reece says Phil retire from football and go and read books. Messi would kill the Premier League. Reece, he might. I'm not sure. I'm not sure he would be given that sort of time on the ball. If you watch Spanish football, they sort of treat Messi with a lot of respect, and he gets a lot of time. I know he's a genius, but the Premier League at his age, he probably would still be brilliant, especially if he was in a Man City team. Reece would do it. I'm not sure. Rumours that Messi was seen shopping in Beaumont Lees says, I hope he was socially distancing and got a mask on, Andy. That's all I want to know. How did they spot it was him? Andy, you've seen him in Beaumont Lees. I love it. It's normally spotted Messi down Saffron Lane getting a bag of chips. Ross says, Martins from Napoli, same nation as Yuri. Why not bring him in? That's a decent shout. Lox is watching over on Periscope. Good evening to you. Thanks, Lox. Ian Starkey says, would Suarez on a free be worth a chance? Yeah, again, rumoured to be going out of, favourite Barcelona and looking for a new one. I don't think so. Too bitey for me. Rumour that Chilwell's transfer includes a player. We are asking 80 million. Now it's 50 million. This could be true, says Andrew. Which player is it, Andrew, that we would have? Let me know. Sid says, would you ever take anyone back? Merez, yes. Knockout, yes. Kante, yes. Kramaric, don't know, didn't see enough of him. I don't think Merez would want to come back to Leicester, and half of you lot wouldn't have him back because you all forget that he is probably the most skillful player ever to wear a Leicester City shirt. But that's fine. Anthony Knockaert probably isn't good enough for us if we're going onwards, but I do love his passion, so I would always have an Anthony Knockaert back in my team, although I noticed that Brighton have officially sold him to Fulham, so we will see him at the King Power next stadium. Kante, I would say, why would you not want Kante back? But I probably just about prefer Ndidi at the moment. Let me know what you think on that one. And Kramaric, he's gone. Danny Welbeck, no. Don't need to talk. Adrian says, drink water. No, probably not now. Chris says, I'd have a nibble on Suarez. I need a symbol, Chris. Ding, for one of your gags. Very good, though. Kevin says, pepperoni from pizza. Good one there. Would you take Tammy Abraham plus 40 million for Chelsea, for Chilwell? Hell yes. Would you, James? I think hands up here who would not. Well, it's probably easier. Put it in. Listen, we can do a likey thing. If you're on Facebook or if you're on Twitter or that, give us a likey. I can see them coming up on screens. Let's see who would. I think everybody would take Tammy Abraham and 40 million quid for Ben Chilwell. Let's be honest. Jack saying, how about Giroud? Yes, I would take Giroud. Don't think he'll come, though. I think he's quite happy at Chelsea, to be fair. Sturridge on a free as backup, Daniel. No, thanks. No, absolutely not. That is step backs for me. Rusty is saying Slabhead back. No, he can stay there now. Lox is saying I'd take Ryan Bennett right now. Please, let's just sign somebody. Honestly, let's just sign Somebody on Facebook group said, how about Nathan Mount plus 30 million for Chilwell? Yes. Baz says he would not take Tammy Abraham. Why not, Baz? You can't just, no, don't want him. Tell us why not, Baz. Tell us why not. Mark says, no to Drinkwater. Chelsea say no. Burnley say no. Aston Villa say no. Leicester say, don't be stupid. I totally agree. Reece says he doesn't want Abraham either. Well, at least two of you says they don't want it. Baz says he'd rather have Ollie Watkins. He's the guy from Brentford, isn't he? Baz says he'd rather have him. Flips is watching out on YouTube. Don't forget, if you're on YouTube, subscribe. We're trying to build the numbers up. And he says he'd take Ross Barkley and 40 million would be a good squad player. Do you know what, actually, Flips? That's not a bad call. That's not a bad call. Ross Barkley would be a good squad player, probably good enough to break into the first team at times as well, isn't he? And 40 million quid would give us money to go and spend. Maybe. I mean, Ross Barkley played a little bit for Chelsea in the end last season. Got it in there. Jordan Williams, again, a few of you saying no to Tammy Abraham. Maybe I've misread it there. Goodness me. Well, maybe. Kevin says, big day from Thermiston Magpies. Always pays his subs. Welcome to anybody who played for Thermiston Magpies, one of the best football teams in the Midlands. Only the best players ever played for the Maggies. Come in the Maggies. Anybody played for Thermiston Magpies, give us a A up my duck. I enjoyed my time there. Scored the odd goal when I was very much younger. Reece doesn't even know much about football, says Adrian. Reece, that will teach you for turning up late. I'm going to put a comment on like that and let Adrian get away with it. Andy says, Locke says, I saw we signed Jamie from Akudia FC on a season-long loan. Yes, Jamie is here every Sunday during the season now because his pub, the Fox's Arms, we all know and love. Last couple of comments in here. Kevin Mann watching on Twitter says Barkley's trash. Get straight in there. Whereas Andy Meadow says, I'd definitely take Barkley. This is why we love football, because not one of us or two of us or three of us have the same opinions. We might all agree on one thing, but then we're all going to disagree on the other. And that's why we love football. I think it's very nearly time. You've put so many comments in there. I must thank everybody for so many comments. It's been hard to... and somebody on Facebook reckons I've still got it. Where's my... If I've got a football here, I could just do a little live, what do you call it? F2 freestylers. A bit of that. Maybe next time I'll get a football. And yes, I'll do a bit of juggling right at the end of the show. We'll go off that. And how does this show turn into give Phil grief? Andy says, Phil, didn't you play left back in the changing room? I did have a few games on the subs bench. Trust me. Last couple of comments. TJ watching says we have enough in midfield. I think we do have enough in midfield. I do agree with you, TJ. I think we definitely need strikers, probably a winger, definitely a fullback, centre-back, something like that. Questions we've not even got onto. We've not even got onto it. And I wanted to talk about Benkovic. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? Is he good enough? Is he not good enough? Gazelle, do we still even own him? So much to talk about. Thanks for all you guys for keeping me absolutely entertained. Don't forget, we've still got a free shirt to give away. If you've not bought one yet, we've got one of these bad boys to give away. Not the one with the peeling arms. It's another one. Trust me, it will be brand new mint. You've got just a few days left. I think we do the draw for that on September the 1st. Go and enter, if you haven't already, at leicesterfantv.com. Look under the competitions tab. You'll see it there. We've got a new shirt. I believe later this week we're going to have one of the new white away kits to give away as well. And that is, as ever, don't forget, that is thanks to all these guys who help bring us all the content and all the prizes for free for you. I'm going to give them a shout out. They're all local businesses. ADT Taxes, Eat Me, don't download that app. Tiger by Everard's, Moya Wade Design, Leicester Garage Conversions, Piglet's Pantry, the Fox's Arms in Arcudia, Pink Car Leasing, Hologram Limited, and our charity that we like to support at the moment, which is Memphis UK. So do make sure you go and support those, and make sure wherever you're watching, if you're watching on YouTube, hit subscribe now, please. If you are watching out on Facebook or Twitter, anywhere else, you can find us at Leicester Fan TV. Subscribe, like, and share all our video content. That would be absolutely amazing. My name is Phil. This has been a fantastic 30-minute chat with you guys about transfers or lack of them. The minute we get a transfer, we'll go live. Honestly, we will go live and have a chat. See you next time.
Get on your feet. Don't sleep. Let the keys. Dig deep. Get on your feet. Don't sleep. Let the keys. Dig deep. Got to dig deep.
Oh, sorry. You just caught me looking for another transfer. There's no updates. Anyway, see you next time.